Hey guys, what's up? So, want to do a quick video on a handle that most people have already, but there's just a couple more uses you can get out of it. So, this is basically just a homemade version of Devon's multi-spinner. It's a 2-inch handle, and it's a foot long, so it's a little longer, it's a little narrower, but I think it would work the same even if you just had that. So it's got a strap on it. It's got a strap. You put your hand through and all that. But what I did with this handle is instead of having the wrap come on the outside so you can wrap it to be for supination or for pronation, I reversed it so that it comes into the handle. So my wrap comes into the handle and it pops out the top, okay? And the reason I did this is because it turns this into a really, really effective top roll, post, and more importantly, hook down pressure tool. Now the last part, the hook down pressure tool, I've yet to find a tool that really feels like that downward wrist pressure in a hook outside of the arm wrestling table. It's very difficult to replicate. But the way I use this is I put my hand through, kind of like you would with the wrist wrench or with the multi-spinner, except for I don't put my hand all the way through like this with my thumb through as well. I just put my hand through as if I were strapped to an opponent. So you can see how it's coming down my between my index and my thumb, just like a regular strap. I put my hand up and I press it up near the edge of the handle itself. So it gets real tight, and if you need to tighten it more, you can just tighten it just like you would a regular strap. So we have our working resistance at the top. I have my hand. Now the reason I have this as long as I do and it coming up through the center is that when I start to put pressure on the handle, you can see what happens to it. It kicks out from the bottom, okay? It's not necessarily trying to turn me from my thumb as much as it's trying to turn my whole hand through my entire wrist over. So it's a bit different sensation you get. So I'll go ahead and strap it to my my weight here. So I just have this on like 25 pounds, just on for me it's just a belt, but it can be a loading pin. But I get in my position, and I really have to control it with the bottom fingers. So it's almost like if someone's trying to top roll me and I want to top roll them as well. So I just get my position, I get tight, and that's my lift. So it's nothing crazy in terms of just a regular top rolling tool. Same thing with the post. I just put it over my knuckles instead of through my thumb. Instead of trying to pronate this way, I just put it over my knuckles, but the grip stays the same. And I just lift this way. And the failure point comes with this, right? Just like any other posting. So those two aren't that revolutionary, but the thing that this tool does for me very well is that downward pressure hook. So what I do for this, and I do it a lot with a locked bicep. I don't do a whole lot of the full range or partial range that you see with a lot of top roller, which is what I do with the top roller on this, is I get this wrist to wrist quotes. So I want this part of the handle to be on my wrist as if I were in a hook with somebody. So you can kind of see that I'm really fully cupped in. I'm wrist to wrist. I get in my hook position, center of the table hook position. I lift the whole weight up and I release. Now what it's really wanting to do is this, right? It's really wanting to turn me hard onto my bicep, making me see my palm. And as the weight gets heavier, obviously this gets much more intense. I usually grab the entire handle with my other hand too, just to support, to get into neutral position. But once I'm in neutral position, my move is this, simple. Down, squeeze hard down with those bottom fingers. Down. So from this angle, I'm on my palm, down. And from what I feel on this exercise is it feels so much like being in a hook with somebody and really have to crunch down and crunch downward through their pronation. And anybody who knows about hooking, if you can maintain your knuckles to be perpendicular to that table, it helps you quite a bit. And especially for someone like me who, I know how to hook, pretty good in the hook, especially right-handed, but I'm not particularly a powerhouse. So I need any one of those little fine details inside of a hook to really make somebody who's decent in a hook work. So yeah, that handle to me, that's the best down pressure tool I've ever found. So hopefully it helps. Yeah, just take your regular multi-spinner, and instead of having it on the outside, you can just loop it through the bottom and straight up. And I really think if you really enjoy the multi-spinner, that if you just add that to your toolbox, I don't think you need any other handles at all. So hopefully that helps.